الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين، سيما بقية الله روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفداء. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا، حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. قال الله الحكيم في محكم كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ومثل كلمة خبيثة كشجرة خبيثة اجتثت من فوق الأرض ما لها من قرار. يثبت الله الذين آمنوا بالقول الثابت في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة. آمنا بالله. صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. مؤمنين ومؤمنات, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Continuing on the discussion that we started from the beginning of the month, in fact, self-purification or tazkiyatun nafs. And if you recall, I mentioned that it's a second series from last year. Basically, last year we spoke of zuhd or asceticism, detachment from dunya and things that often keep us down, drag us, chain us down basically. Dunya and all its temptations and ghurur as the deception, as the Quran and the dua. In fact, dua Kumail also describes it. وَخَدَعَتْنِ الدُّنْيَا بِغُرُورِهَا. One is to detach. One is to basically not allow dunya to keep us down and chain us down. Second is to move forward. So once we detach from dunya, then we start moving forward. This is what we've been discussing. Last night I spoke of one part of Surah Ibrahim where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks of a good word. And the good word that I spoke of, the best example is the dua. كلمة طيبة ألم تر كيف ضرب الله مثلا كلمة طيبة كشجرة طيبة. How Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us an example. A good word is like a good tree. It has its fruits in every season, or initially he says it is firm and the branches, it's firm in the ground and the branches are in the sky. And it gives its fruits in every season. That's kalimatan tayyiba. And the significance of the kalima, the word, and the significance of the kalima in terms of its meaning. It is not when you don't mean it, rather when you mean it. And therefore it's important when we, especially when we come to dua, to be in fact aware of what we recite, fully conscious and aware with the presence of the heart, so we mean every part of the dua. Therefore it becomes a spiritual journey, and inshallah it will be one that will help us reach to the highest levels of irfan and the closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tonight I want us to speak of, God forbid, the opposite. Now you may say, well, this is relating to the detachment part of the journey. I would say to you that it is a continuous effort. Continuous effort of watching what we say, to make sure we say godly things. قُلْ لِعِبَادِي يَقُولُ الَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. Tell my servants, say the best. Say godly things. Say beautiful things. And at the same time, constantly remind ourselves of not saying devilish things, satanic things, things that will in fact have the basically counter effect. One is helping us travel closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One is taking us in the opposite direction. This journey of purification is, as I said, a continuous effort. It is the jihadul akbar, the greatest of the struggles, greater than even going to the battlefield and facing an enemy in the battlefield, risking one's life. One of the reasons I mentioned is that it is a continuous battle. An enemy in the battlefield, you have a war with them, it may be a month, a year, less, more, and then it's over. Either they kill you or you kill them. إحدى الحسنيين. Either you become a martyr, you're a winner, or you kill them and you get rid of the enemy. Also, you're a winner. In this case, it's a constant battle, and your enemy you cannot kill. Who is your enemy? I mentioned one enemy is shaitan, and shaitan you cannot kill. You have to keep on fighting him until the day of judgment, until we depart this world, basically. Continuous fight. Another enemy is nafs, and you cannot kill your nafs, can you? It's haram actually to kill. Yes, in a spiritual sense it's beautiful, but that nafs, unless we elevate and ascend above the physical world and really die before our death, as the hadith from Amirul Mu'mineen salawatullah wa salamu alayhi, when he says mutu qabla an tamutu, unless we reach that level of that complete detachment that we are dead before our death. Not that we become boring people, people who don't do anything. No, it simply means that we become the kind of people that all we care about is the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing in this world really matters to us. In any case, that's the second enemy. The third enemy I mentioned, and perhaps through the ayah, that amongst your spouses and your children are enemies for you. فَاحْذَرُوهُمْ. Be careful of them. Again, another enemy that you cannot kill. You go to jail and you go to Jahannam afterwards. So you cannot really get rid of these enemies. They're always going to be there. You have to live with them and constantly fight this battle of jihadul akbar, jihadul nafs. Therefore, you will not be able to basically get to a level of complete freedom from shaitan. Even once you detached and you're going towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he will come from different angles. One of those angles, in fact, is the words that we use that are often caused by our emotions. So we're happy, we use beautiful words. We're sad, we use words that are reflecting our sadness, grief, grievous. We are angered, then what happens? We may use, maybe screaming is one thing, using the words that is in fact described in the Holy Quran, وَمَثَلُ كَلِمَةٍ خَبِيثَةٍ. This is a reminder for all of us, myself included. خَبِيثَةٍ كَشَجَرَةٍ خَبِيثَةٍ. It's a bad tree. It should be pulled out. It's a weed. It should be pulled out. اجتثت من فوق الأرض ما لها من قرار. Eventually it will be pulled out. It has no benefits. It has no fruits. You want to assess a word before you say it, see if it's going to bear fruits. Is it a fruitful tree or is it a weed? Is it the kind of word that will bear some benefits, will have some positive effect or influence? Or is it the kind of word that will not bear benefits, rather it may have harms? Because what happens to a weed if you do not control it? A tree that is not meant to be there, you don't control it, it'll start killing the good trees, yes? If you have weeds in your grass will die. And your basically yard will look dry and ugly. Why? Because you did not control the weed. You may have some good words here and there, but with a bad word, evil word, you ruin it. وَمَثَلُ كَلِمَةٍ خَبِيثَةٍ كَشَجَرَةٍ خَبِيثَةٍ. It is a bad tree, it's a weed. We need to get rid of it. We need to eliminate it. It is one of the obstacles. One wants to travel spiritually. The month of Ramadan, a spiritual journey. Wants to travel to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wants to be the guests of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A guest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has to have the etiquette of the guest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I mentioned that one of the, in fact, things that ruins this being a guest and ruins that basically the gathering as guests of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the month of Ramadan are the akhlaq or the mannerisms that are not befitting of that gathering. It is not befitting of being the guests of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to say or do things that are stemming from our anger or stemming from our basically vengeance or, God forbid, other ill feelings and other diseases in some cases. I dislike certain people that resentment and disliking a mu'min results in me saying things that are not befitting of a believer, not befitting of one who is a guest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the month of mercy, the month of giving, the month of kindness, the month in which we should be, all of us, close and far, should be sitting around a table, not a physical table here. Imagine the description given in the Holy Quran, إِخْوَانٌ عَلَى سُرُرٍ or عَلى سُرُرٍ مَوْضُونَةٍ مُتَّكِئِينَ عَلَيْهَا مُتَقَابِلِينَ, that we sit facing each other on these beautiful gold, basically decorated with gold thrones. Beautiful. This is Jannah. The most important aspect is that in there is that وَنَزَعْنَا مَا فِي قُلُوبِهِم مِّنْ غِلٍّ إِخْوَانًا. They became that ikhwan because we removed any ill feelings in their hearts. It is those ill feelings that result in statements that are not godly, words coming out of bad emotions, allowing shaitan to ruin this gathering of love and mercy. The month of Ramadan should be a month of a boost of brotherhood and being close to each other in terms of love and affection for one another, having that mercy of a believer that constantly recites Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, recites after Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, is reminded of the merciful. And he is calling, I said, مَثَلُ كَلِمَةٍ or ألم ترى كيف ضرب الله مثلا كلمة طيبة. That كلمة طيبة, a good example of that is Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, beautifies everything, changes everything, makes anything that it becomes a part of it, makes it positive. This is Bismillah. When you start something with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, you beautify it. One of the most beautiful aspects of Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, which is in fact the best kalima, one of the most beautiful aspects of it is ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us of the mercy that He has and all aspects of it twice in the same statement. Then twice again in the same surah, which is obligatory on us to recite twice in every salat. Mercy, 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 mercy. In other words, in your salat, in a wajib salat, you would say the concept of mercy or the name of the merciful, you will say it at least 6 times. 60 times a day, you're calling His mercy, remembering His mercy, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. As a believer, you want to be a guest of the merciful, Duyufur Rahman. Often we are called in the month of Ramadan Duyufur Rahman. Yes, we are Duyuf Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You agree with me? We're all the guests of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but the statement used is Duyufur Rahman, the guests of the merciful. He is Allah, He is Rahman, He is all of this. But guests of Ar-Rahman is a reminder for you and I that you want to be the guest of Ar-Rahman, you have to have mercy. That mercy is what reflects itself in all of the beautiful concepts. Giving, good words, loving words, sharing, being benevolent, being generous. All of these things are a reflection of that mercy. If we do not maintain that, and God forbid, if we start doing the opposite, kalimatin khabitha, okay, a word that has no roots, ma laha min qarar, it has no roots, no bases, discouraging an act of mercy is kalimatin khabitha. Saying a word that's hurtful is kalimatin khabitha. Out of anger, swearing or using foul language is kalimatin khabitha. It does not fit the gathering of mercy. In a gathering of mercy, what should we do then? I want to stay away from kalimatin khabitha. I want to say kalimatin tayyibah, because this is a condition of that journey of tazkiyah. How do I do it? What should I do? In a gathering of being a guest of the merciful, what should I say? What should I not say? Assess that based on positive results, negative results. Fruitful tree and tree that bears no fruits, just has thorns. Assess that. In this gathering, pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, words or action, or displeasing. And when I say words, often people think it's all about the action. In fact, somebody came to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. He said, Ya Rasulullah, are we judged on what we say? He thought it's only the actions. Then the Prophet ﷺ said, Wayhak. A statement to say like, wake up. وَهَلْ يُكَبُّ النَّاسِ عَلَى مَنَاخِرِهِمْ فِي النَّارِ إِلَّا حَصَائِدُ أَلْسِنَتِهِمْ. Most people, in other words, end up in hellfire because of what they say. What they say, yes. What you say causes animosity. What you say could. A word could cause animosity. A word could divide family members. Husband and wife could be divided and divorced and separated caused by words. A word could take one back in the journey of purification when it comes to tazkiyah. I said that قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَزَكَّى has two aspects to the same word. Tazakka is from tazkiyatun nafs and tazakka is from zakat. That is why the mufassirin, they say in Salatul Eid, it is important, or on the day of Eid, it is important that you pay your zakat before Salatul Eid. Why? Because the ayah says, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَزَكَّى وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ فَصَلَّى. First tazakka and then salla. First purify your nafs, then pray and fast. It is above prayers and fasting. How does that purification happen? All of what we discussed. Generosity is a part of it. If a word is discouraging generosity, go and recite as much Quran as you want. You're wasting your time because you did not realize how many times Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة. أقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة. Go and find how many times. Every time he says establish prayers and then what? آتوا الزكاة. You cannot travel in this journey if you're still so attached. A word could make one give. A word could make one withhold. All of these things, if we keep in mind, a word, a simple word. A word could start a war, or a word could make peace. Choosing our words as guests of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the sufra. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put a table spread and we're sitting. The food on it is guidance. Those around it are brothers and sisters. They're ikhwan. Ikhwan, they want the best for one another. Ikhwan, they love one another. Ikhwan, they share words of love and mercy, kindness. If your words, you think about it, in whichever position you're in, you're a husband, you're a wife, you're a son, you're a daughter, whatever you are, you're a parent, whatever position you're in, think about those words. At least in the month of Ramadan, إِذَا صُمْتَ فَلْيَصُمْ. If you fast, then let those things fast with you. What are they? Your hearing, your vision, and your tongue. فَلْيَصُمْ سَمْعَكَ وَبَصَرَكَ وَلِسَانَكَ. Let them fast with you. Don't listen to things that are not befitting of that gathering. Don't look at things that are not befitting of that gathering. And don't say things that are not befitting of that gathering. This is the table spread of being guests of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And often it is what we say. Often it may be the difference between hell and heaven. وَهَلْ يُكَبُّ النَّارِ Rasulullah says. He says most people end up in hellfire because of what they say. Would it be difficult to say, or would it be too far-fetched to say, and also those who end up in heaven, it's because of what they say? Obviously, when it's intended. If you intend a good word, dua is something we say. If it's intended, it could take us up in that journey of ascension and closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What we say. And on the contrary, an evil word takes us down. Choosing our words, my brothers and sisters. In this month of Ramadan, let's observe. You're fasting, the tongue is heavy. It's hard to even talk sometimes. You agree with me? Huh? You run out of... So choose what you say. قُلْ لِعِبَادِي يَقُولُ الَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. Tell my servants, Ya Rasulullah, tell my people, let them say what is best. Choose, be very picky. If for every word we say, we could be making $100 or losing $100. A good word meant $100. A bad word meant $100, fine. If we were to be fined on every word that we say, evil, and every good word we would be rewarded for it, you would be very careful, wouldn't we? You put it, I mean the figures is up to you. You put $1,000, maybe some people $100 is petty cash, it's no longer significant. Put 1,000 figure on it. A significant figure, a good word they'll give you 1,000, a bad word they take 1,000 from you. I'd be very cautious what I say. All of us would be. Think of it in this way, because it could mean the difference between hell and heaven, the word that you say. It simply could mean the difference between paradise and the garden, or wal-'ayadu billah, the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We seek refuge to Him from that. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this month of Ramadan to help us beautify our speech and say what is best. We ask Him to make us amongst those who listen to what's said and follow what's best. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآله